All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm on the internet again, which is where we all live now because of the situation the world is in. But it gives me a chance doing this podcast to reach out to people that maybe I haven't talked to before, or artists whose music is relatively new to me, and hopefully also new to the listeners of the show. So the guest on this episode is someone whose name I'm familiar with, having just heard it, seen it on posters and show listings and things like that for many years in the city. And I think the best way to start this off is if you'd like to just introduce yourself and maybe give a bit of background about what it is that you do as a musician.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you, Sam, for the invitation. I think this is a wonderful work that you're doing, interviewing artists and everything. This is very important for the community. Yeah, my name is Marco Castillo. I am from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and I'm a musician. I've lived in Canada for 15 years now, and I'm a musician since I can remember. My father is a musician, so I came from a family of music and everything. And yeah, so I moved here from Rio de Janeiro with my family and, just keep doing my music. And I found a lot of opportunities in here. And I'm glad now I feel more Canadian than ever.
Why Winnipeg? I mean, of all the places you could have come in Canada, what was the draw to this city?
Well, the snow.
No, we have enough of it for sure. Yeah.
I always joke with that because people, it's like a very common question. Well, I have family that moved here since the 80s from Guatemala.
Okay.
My mother is from Guatemala. I lived in Guatemala for 3-4 years when I was a teenager. So Spanish is my second language, but of course, Portuguese is my first language.
Right.
And so they moved in the 80s and my mother and my sister moved in 2000. And I was in Brazil at the time and it was not, I have no, Canada wasn't on my plans. But as we were talking, like years goes by and we're like always telling good things about Canada and everything. So I decided for the family, I think it will be better. So my daughter was at the time 7 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
When we came and now she's 23. So I think it was a good decision come to Canada. It's a country that gives opportunities in all different fields and we feel safe and that, I think that's the main thing that I like to always point here, despite all the time we hear, Winnipeg is the murder capital, just like, no, because they don't know Rio de Janeiro, they don't know Sao Paulo. Yeah, so it's anyway, so we moved here. I'm happy. So I always joke snow because but wow, this year has been crazy, right? Like
it's been nuts. Yeah.
Even for people that lives here like forever, I like it. It's just so it's been a tough one. But spring will come. I'm very optimistic.
One day it'll eventually happen. Yeah, it always does, right?
Yeah. So exactly.
What was it like coming here as a musician and kind of experiencing the local music scene here for the first time? I mean, because you're coming from a very different environment. I mean, there's still obviously you're doing something creative and there's a lot of creativity in Winnipeg, but just that kind of first steps into the music scene here as a newcomer, what was that like for you?
Well, honestly, Sam, when we decided to move, I was a little bit scary. I have to confess, because Rio is a 12 million people city, with and all the goods and bads, but there's a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, there's a lot of people. So it's kind of and when I saw the numbers, 700,000, it's like, that's kind of a small city. But once I got here, I found, first of all, like the music community is huge. I actually noticed this organization, when you talk about music, which I'm part of it. And I noticed in Brazil, because I was doing a research on the internet and I found them right away. And it's like, wow, they have some, but I didn't know exactly what it was. So when I came, I was like, we didn't have like a B plan. That's the thing. It was one way ticket coming here. We were at my mom's house for months, until we start figuring out things and getting to the. And my English was pretty bad, actually. It was resumed to Beatles songs, and sometimes not knowing exactly what I was singing.
Right.
But I was very confident because I was already a musician and an experienced musician. So I travel a lot in South America with different groups and bands. So I was pretty confident saying, I can play all the Tom Jobim repertoire. So I think I'll be fine. Me and my guitar. And luckily, I really found my place. I contact right away Rodrigo Munoz from the Papa Mambo, and he pretty much adopted me on the first summer. He got me so many gigs. I think the band, the Papa Mambo, is always kind of changing formats and stuff. And at the time, I was like super welcome, and then I perform a lot with him. Actually, he helped me to produce my first CD, the Brazilian Season, and that was an amazing experience. We had like 17 musicians playing, the best musicians in town at the time. And then from then on, I just start finding my own space, and then put together my band, the Brazilian Beats. And I record my second album, The Trip to Brazil, which I got the World Recording Music Award in 2014, 2012. Yeah. And then I released the Zabelé, that was also nominated. And, and I start, getting a lot of gigs. I'm a very versatile musician. That's something that I think I like to point out, because basically people have that idea, oh, you're from Brazil, so you only play Brazilian music. But I like rock and roll. I like blues. I like jazz. Country, I like country. I mean, I like good music. I like, if it sounds good, classic music. I love classic music. So I'm a very versatile musician, and I'm not bragging. Like, I really like, and I play different styles. I play different instruments. So I think that kind of opened to me a lot of opportunities. Being a singer as well, like, I think kind of again, not bragging, but like I'm the complete pack. I can do it all. I can do it by myself. Yeah. But I love to play with people. So I put a band, and I have doing a lot of different things, collaborations with the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, the symphony, you name it. Ron Paley and band, and all the musicians. A lot of, and again, I found like such a rich community here, a lot of talented people, and that really impressed me and just got me more motivated, to make more music and everything. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Well,
and that's kind of what I wanted to ask you as well. Is I think that people do assume they hear Brazilian, and they think they have an image in their head of what that sounds like. But even just looking at you on social media or in your website, I mean, the amount of different stuff you've done, it's a pretty good list. I mean, all that work with the jazz orchestra, and just playing with various people and playing as a solo artist and all these things. I guess how do you define what it is that you do as a musician? Is there an easy way to kind of like, would you just say that you're a singer-songwriter or something like that? Is there like an overarching label you would give to yourself? And I know it's hard to label when you have so many different
but it's a really good question, Sam, because recently I have been thinking a lot about that. So on my Instagram, I put myself as an artist.
Sure.
And my quote is "Life is good." So, because I'm an artist. I mean, like, I'm a performer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer. But if I start putting everything, so that's what artist does. I mean, like, I think the bureaucratic part, like, I mean, it's part of the job. I'm my own manager. I do a lot of stuff, and I have a lot of people. Sometimes, of course, you put together teams to work at specific projects and everything. But I think artist, I'm an artist. I think that's the short definition what I am, because artist is like, it covers pretty much all the bases, I guess.
Yeah, it can encompass everything that you do, whatever it is that's creative will fit in that category for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for example, videos. Like, I have my wife is something like she's like always helped me. Like, she's my biggest supporter since day one. And then she filmed pretty much all my shows, like Jazz Festival and everything. So all this, I think this is very important to have, because the other day I was watching the Brazilian Beats, one of the first shows in 2008, I guess. Okay. And it was like, wow. And I was like watching people were playing with me. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. I mean, it's, so now recently I like also to edit videos, so I do, like, sometimes I put together a video, so you throw the cameras and you do all the stuff. So this is an artist work, right? And you have to learn those skills. I mean, if you want to survive in this business, you can't just like do one thing. You have to, even though some people say that's not right, you have to focus on one thing. But I mean, it's tricky, right? Like, I think you have to know at least, how everything works. I'm a very, how can I put that? I'm a very, I wouldn't say picky, but I'm very detailed. I like
Okay.
details, and I'm very like I like to. So I like to have my hands on everything. Just like I want this way or this. So it's kind of it can be a little bit annoying, but that's how I am. Like I would like to have things my way, right? I'm not a a dictator or anything, but like because it's my brand, right? That's
Sure,
my name.
sure.
So I think it's part of the
Well,
deal.
and I think maybe it's become more part of it since the internet has become so prevalent in everyone's lives as well. Because you have to be figuring out how to do all these things, how to make videos, how to promote yourself on social media, how to just get your name out there. Because one of the best things about the internet is it's made everyone's music available to everyone. But then that's also a downside, is that all of this music is there and people now have to sort through it and find the stuff they want to hear. So you have like
Yeah.
almost an added challenge of making your voice heard among all the noise of the internet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It's very interesting. I think everything has goods and bads, right? Like I think the internet's a wonderful place, but
Yeah.
again, I agree with you that it's overwhelmed. I mean, like if you want to find something, like you'll find like 1,000 times more than where you're looking, and it's like you can get lost easily with and distracted. So it's kind of crazy. Even like I think in the music industry has changed drastically in the
Yeah.
last 15 years. Like I remember when I was being already a side musician and the studio session musician in Brazil, I record vinyls, so I have
Yeah.
I have credits in vinyls. It's like, and this doesn't exist anymore. And then the CD came and then turned into MP3. Now we have the streaming, which in my opinion, it's the last shot on the art in general, because I understand technology. I love technology, but I think we're missing a precious part of the appreciation. Like have the okay. I won't go radical saying okay, we have to go back on vinyls, but I really miss the experience to get a record and then you put in there and you listen 28 minutes. Is not
Yeah.
30 seconds and sweeping. So nobody's really paying attention. It's so we're going nowhere this way. And at the same time, there's a flood of people trying to make money behind, like
Yes.
trying to convince you that it's a good deal to be an artist, and it's not. I mean, like and they have all this music for free. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, like I spent thousands of dollars in knowledge and equipment and production, and then I'll give my music away. No, it's like, but that's what we're living right now. And people know it's just for promotion. No, I mean, like, so I don't know. I don't know what really, I'm trying to find like inspiration like inspiration that is always in there, but like you have to find a way to make a living, like keep getting paid for that, right?
Yeah.
It's not only on shows. I mean, like, because like you have to sell your brand now. You have to make like t-shirts and everything. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, like, I understand that, I agree, but I think I don't think it's that the way. I mean, like, we're losing the music, the most precious thing, which is the music itself, the
Yeah.
essence. And
Well,
that's dangerous, in my opinion.
I'm glad you're saying that. I mean, I'm someone who never got into the streaming. I still listen to music on vinyl, on tape, on CD, and I have a big collection. Which, at this point, a lot of people I know think it's ridiculous that I have so many records, because
It's
I
not.
could just get Spotify. But like you say, there's a value to it, to sitting down, listening to something from start to finish the way it was intended, and having access to the lyrics and the liner notes, and learning who played on the record and who produced it and all of that. And I think you're right. It's something that's lost just in the general way people consume music. Someone could definitely have heard a song before, but they won't necessarily know who wrote that song, and they won't know who produced it or where it was recorded. And for me, anyway, those are always ways that I found new music. I'd find a songwriter I liked, and then track down what else they did. But if you're just listening to it on a stream and you're skipping it after a minute, you're not gonna get that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of scary what's going on now, and the problem is like the stream. I also don't have any subscription. I like to leave this like very clear. I don't subscribe for anything.
Yeah.
I have my YouTube channel, I have Instagram, I have all those social media stuff, but I don't subscribe. I receive all every day. Like when I go on my own thing on all those like Spotify, wherever, because I have a profile there that I can manage at least. But and then they offer me, sign up, and this is like, I don't want that. I'm not going to, because these people are already, I don't know if you know, but the guy behind the Spotify, I call it Spotify. The Spotify thing is the same guy that was behind Napster, you
Right.
know? So they came with this model, you know, and just like, and they're like, they're ultra rich now, and then they're paying people, and people still believe people are paying money to
Yeah.
be in playlist, just like,
It's
you know,
bizarre. Yeah.
it's
Well, okay.
bizarre. Yeah, it's,
So maybe a question based on that then is how are you finding this kind of brave new world we're in, where you're still releasing music on CD, you're trying to sell it directly to the people who like what you do. Has it changed in terms of what people want to hear from you? Do you have people asking where they can find you on Spotify rather than where they can buy a CD? Has that kind of approach changed for you at all?
well, it has changed, but what I'm trying to take advantage of the momentum in that matter, because I remember the other day, like I posted on my Facebook something like I was celebrating because I had like 2 listeners on Spotify on my last month. And then I received an email like a default, oh, you know, congratulations, you have also, wow. And it's like, so I made a joke. I posted and I said, oh, you know, I have I don't know, like how many streams I had, like 5, I don't know. And so I need 200,000 streams so I can buy a coffee, because that's
That's
the
right.
value. You know, like you get like 0.0006 per streaming. And a lot of people, so no, I'm listening right now. So it's funny because like I felt like it was lovely. Some people like, no, I'm listening to you right now. Like they thought that I was like asking them to do that. It was a joke, right? But it was interesting because it got so last month I actually got like 20. So I kind of multiplied by 10, you know, the listeners I have now. And so it's kind of interesting. But people, how can I put that? Yeah, they always ask. There's always that question, you know. So what is coming up? What are you doing? And you know, and the definition of the music that I do, because
Yeah.
I'm as a versatile musician. Like I have a song, for example, that I wrote in 2011. That was no 2012. That brought me to one of the biggest festivals of Latin America, Viña del Mar. So I played for 20,000 people. It was
Oh, wow.
live streaming and everything. So it was, you know, a big momentum for me. And it was, and the kind of music is a very simple, like a 3 chords, you know, a very popular song from the northeast of Brazil. And some people I know that, like especially from Brazil, so they think that I just played that type of music, and they kind of put me on that box. I
Yeah.
mean, unfortunately, it's okay. It's their problem, not mine. But like I play jazz, I play everything. So I'm not that only 3 chords
Yeah.
playing that thing, which I'm very proud of it because it was my song and a big opportunity and everything. But it's I mean, for me, it's, you know, people that knows me, so they know that I'm versatile, and they always looking for it. When, you know, if I release something, they'll like, you know, I know that it's getting bigger, my audience, and more sincere, more
Yeah.
solid, because people know what I do, and in different sectors. So they'll, you know, they'll support me. They'll either support me because they like me, or support because they like the one specific song or 2
Yeah.
or different styles. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
No,
I kind of got lost
that's
on it.
good. I mean, I know we've established here. I mean, you are versatile. You have all of these different influences and styles you can play, and styles you have played. But as far as just you know, music that you were bringing to Canada from Brazil, how was that received here? Because I mean, you know, obviously there's a community here. Who are people from Brazil? I mean, first of all, who would be familiar with a lot of that stuff, and there's also people from South America more generally who, you know, have been exposed to that kind of thing more often, and then there's people who just are interested in finding music from all over the world. But you know, it's not. I guess it's not a huge community in Manitoba. So what has it been like trying to sort of, in many cases, I guess, introduce this stuff to people here?
Well, you know, it's easier than it appears, because basically Latin music in general, and Brazilian music is based on a very rich rhythmical environment. And it's hard not to move, not to get that
Yeah,
feeling of the Latin. And it's different from what is produced in North America, right? Like the rock and roll and everything is like a grounded, like on the downbeat, toe,
Mhm.
toe, toe, yeah. While the Latin music is all on the upbeat, it's all floating. It's all in the, so it's different right away there. And people love, I mean, like Canada, I mean, I feel very fortunate being here because people are very open
Yeah.
for the new for the culture in general. In Brazil, of course, we have all this huge tradition of good music. Again, not bragging, but we have a huge Brazil is impressive. It's like
Yeah.
I just presented recently some workshops about Brazilian music, and I covered like since the like a little bit of history of Brazil and the different gender styles of music, and I talked about the festivals and the carnival, and it's unbelievable. Like it's so rich and so complex. I can't, like, if I talk about the Brazilian music styles, I can easily count 40 different styles of Brazilian
Sure.
music.
Sure.
Besides samba, bossa nova, they have so many others. So and people are very welcoming, since the very beginning. Again, and that was one of the things that I feel like confident when I came, saying like, I know Tom Jobim. Tom Jobim is a genius. So I know the repertoire, so I'll play Girl from Ipanema, and people
Yeah.
will love that.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And Brazil, the Brazilian community at the time that I came wasn't that big. Was really, really small. It's growing. It's still a small community.
Yeah.
But they have been like supportive as well. Like I mean, it's their music, it's their culture, right? So
Of course. Yeah. It's probably great for them to hear it being played here
yeah,
because it's they're not exposed
exactly.
to it as much just by necessity of being in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people that I have met, they always, oh, I heard about you, I know you, so they know me already for what I have done, and I feel proud and honored, like to being one of I think in Winnipeg at least, I don't have record that there was any other Brazilian musician. I think I'm the first one.
Yeah.
Now I have some people coming, which is great. I think it's I actually have played with most of them, and it's good. We're growing, steadily, but we're, and most important, and again, I think the music. I like a composer from Brazil called Hermeto Pascoal. He's one of my inspirations
Okay.
because he treats the music. He don't like those boxes like, oh, is this or is that. For him, is music, is the universal music. And I like that concept because it really is. I mean, the music is a universal vocabulary, regardless the style. Of course, we have thousands of different roots and
Yeah.
mix and everything. But the music is a language. I mean, it's a unique language that everybody speaks. If you are a musician, you get a musician from India, and then you can get along quickly playing with somebody from Cuba or from Brazil or from North America.
Yeah.
It's because that's the language. It's a communication that you don't need like it's just the skills, right?
Well, I think that's why there's that openness among listeners to jump on stuff that's new to them. They to kind of embrace it because it's they recognize some connection to, even if it's from a country they've never even heard of. You could hear a song and there's some element of it that connects with what you think of as music and the music that you've been
Absolutely.
exposed to, and you can, even if it's a new language, you still have the root language of just basic music, and it fits together.
Yeah, I'm a educator as well, so I teach. I have lots of students,
Yeah.
and it's funny because I have had like some students from Africa, and we ended up they talk Yoruba, and in Brazil Yoruba is huge. I mean, like
Okay.
we have actually a style of music, Axé music, and there was a big boom in the 80s. It's Axé is a Yoruba language. And it's fascinating how we own too much to Africa. I mean, like
Yeah. Oh
Europe,
yeah.
of course, but
Yeah.
Africa is the mother of so many, not only from us humans, but like culture, music, rhythm. It's so rich. It's like unbelievable,
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
Well, and the good thing about again, to bring up the internet, the world is become smaller in terms of connectivity, right? So people are now, you can be exposed to stuff like that. Whereas before, maybe a style of music from Africa, unless you had a friend who would come from there or someone sending you the music physically on tape or CD or vinyl, you wouldn't have heard it because it just wasn't as accessible. But now everything is kind of thrown at everyone, and you can soak it all up.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned a few minutes ago about one of the kind of things that appeals to people about Latin music in general is that the liveliness, and you want to move to it and everything like that. How has that affected your experience during the past couple of years when live shows just haven't been able to happen? I mean, it seems like that type of music in general is very much geared towards performance rather than. I mean, obviously you can record and you can make albums, but it's very live show heavy.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's been tough. It's like those last 2 years was just crazy, and I'm looking forward for this summer. Like that, I have despite all of this craziness that is going on in the world,
Yeah,
I'm sad. We are all sad. We're shocked, and we're just getting rid of a pandemic, and then we're getting into this big trouble. It's just
it
hard,
never ends.
but never ends. But I'm very hope that we have a better summer, and then we be out playing music. Like those last years, 2 years is being like tough. I consider myself actually very lucky because 1 month before the pandemic, that was 2019, right? 2019, yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
February. Yeah, like you see,
It all
February.
blends together. Yeah.
Yeah, I played a show with the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, and we brought from Brazil Kiko Freitas, which is an amazing drummer, one of the best drummers in the world. He plays
Cool.
with the big star João Bosco, and we brought him here to play a couple of shows with the WJO. I actually got him on the studio to record some sessions, and like as soon as he left, and then in March, boom, this craziness hit, and everything was shut down. So, and actually they canceled a lot of other shows that they had. Everybody canceled everything.
Yeah.
And we had the first year that was horrible. Like I was 20, right? I'm just like totally lost in time.
It
like,
all blends together.
19,
When you said 19, I was like, it sounds right.
it was 20, yeah,
I think
20.
it was 20, yeah, because it's 22 now.
20, yeah. So February of 20,
Yeah.
and then the whole year was a mess. And then 21, so it's the second year. So I did live shows, on Facebook. I did a few things here and there, but it's not the same thing. You're playing for a screen, like we missed that connection. I think, I'm missing that connection very much. I was lucky enough. Last summer I actually played some gigs, but it was kind of very, here and there, nothing like. But I'm very hopefully that this year we're going to catch up and get, playing more outside and having that energy, that we need so much for, to feed is a both way things, right? Like we have to, I'm very hopeful that we're going to have a good summer.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. It seems like things are going to start happening, but I don't want to get too excited about it, just in case, right?
I heard it. I understand, and I'm just like maybe sometimes. Oh yeah, like, but I know. It's like I don't blame you. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So if people are hearing about you for the first time on here, or even if they are familiar with your work already, what's the best way to find you online, to check out your music, to buy CDs, to watch videos, things like that?
Well, on my website, there's all the links for, I have I have a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those things. And on my website, www.marcocastillo.ca, all the links are there. So I always encourage people, you have a YouTube channel, subscribe to mine, follow on Instagram, all those things, because those, little by little, you build your audience and everything. So I encourage people to, to do that. Even if they don't like the music, that's okay. I mean, nobody needs to like everything, but you can keep following.
Yeah. Well, and you hope they like
say,
the music, right?
I don't like this guy. And then they look and they go there, like John Lennon say, talk about me.
Right on.